Now, it's a fact that the more you have, the more you have to lose. And the more you have to lose, the more likely someone will try and take it from you. Now, Joe briefly goes over what he does to protect his assets from being taken. Let's take a look.
As you become a more sophisticated investor, these are tools that you need to use to protect yourself. I don't know if you're familiar with a land trust, but that's one of the items that I use here. A land trust is basically a document that I use to record title to the property with the county recorder. None of these properties are recorded in my name. Why would I do that? Because anybody could sit down and go, hey, Joe Holmes, and see how many properties he owns, and they find out that I own a bunch of properties, and if something happens, they want to sue me. Okay, so they can tie all that stuff together. In a land trust, you can title it whatever you want. 123 Main Street. They usually use the address. 456 Second Street or whatever, and that way it never ties it into anything else that I'm using. In the land trust itself, there's a document, and in the document it says beneficiary. So the beneficiary of that means the owner, the actual owner of that property. That is my LLC. Okay, so then I've got privacy protection, and it rolls right into liability protection as well. Okay, each one of those properties is owned in a different LLC. So I don't tie up all my assets basically under one LLC. They're all tied up differently.
My understanding is that what you're doing is essentially protecting each one, so that if one person has a property, they can't essentially go after all of your other assets in the other buildings. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
That's totally correct. So let's say I have 10 properties and each of them are worth $100,000. Okay, if I have one LLC that is in charge of all of them, then if something happens in one, they can sue me on all of them, all the assets in that LLC. If they're all separated, they all have their own, then the only thing I'm at risk at is that 100,000, not the million.
Do you do that with flips as well? Because I've heard of people that do it with everything.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll do it with flips as well.
Yes.
Cool.
Years ago, I worked in real estate law in Southern California. The company I worked for specialized in real estate damage valuations. And the company was used as an expert witness for many high-profile lawsuits involving real estate damages. So one of the things I learned there is that one of the very first things a lawyer will do if someone wants to sue you is to determine if a lawsuit is even worth their time. So what they do is they'll basically find out how much money you have and how many assets you have so that they can figure out how much money they want to try and take away from you. That's why this is so important, because you can make it appear to a lawyer on paper that you have no money and no assets to go after, and they'll determine that it's a waste of their time and energy to try and sue you and take things from you. So it goes even further than that though. If it's structured correctly, you have real legal protection that can shield you or your other assets from being taken by the courts. So my biggest suggestion is that you absolutely seek legal advice when it comes to the specifics on structuring these kinds of documents and things like an LLC or how your real estate portfolio is structured. Definitely do not listen to me. This is not legal advice in any way. My only advice is to seek advice from a professional. So that wraps up our episode today. If you'd like to subscribe, you can click down here. If you want to see the full interview, click up here on the top. And lastly, the deals that my team works on, we only share those deals with our friends. The good thing is we really like meeting new people and meeting new friends. So if you want to connect with us, click on the first link in the video description below and follow what the site says. So we'll be looking forward to connecting with you there and seeing you on the next video.